We are joined now by Ambassador M Hijazi, the former Assistant Minister of the Foreign Affairs. Welcome, Ambassador, to Q News. Now, what are the potential immediate repercussions in the conflict as a whole after what we've seen now from the reports emerging about the killing of Yahya Sinwar?
Target killing of leaders, being it in Hezbollah or Hamas, is among the Israelis' tactics to control over the territory, being it in Gaza or in Lebanon. It is an important escalation, and it does not carry truly the right answer. The Israelis has to understand that no matter how many will they kill, the will of the people will continue. They have assassinated Ismail Haniya and Kim Sinwar, and many will replace him. It is about the determination of the people of Palestine towards their homeland, towards their statehood. And I don't think that this is the right answer. The Israeli right-wingers should understand that there is a peace process that could have led us all to shore and find a solution. The Egyptian, Qatari, American efforts were supported by the Israeli rigid position and led us to more killing of people, while the time is now very complicated and difficult as all eyes goes to Iran and the situation. The regional efforts is going on. The Iranian foreign minister was in Egypt in 8 legs visit where he visited many of the regional decision-making capitals. And I think if the Israelis insisting in working all the time with the military, they may pay a hefty price. I don't think that this will end the resistance in Gaza, and a replacement will come soon, but the hatred will continue, and the answer is not right. And the only thing that the international community should intervene, because this is a televised war crime. You cannot really go on like this. You are bringing the whole region to a situation where we all are very worried. I think the Iranian message came to Cairo and other capitals that they don't want escalation, and a solution should be envisaged through diplomatic efforts.
Ambassador, now before the confirmation of the killing of Yahya al-Sinwar, there has been reports, there were reports that were saying that perhaps this operation was not really targeting Sinwar himself. However, Yahya Sinwar just happened to be there. Do you think it makes a difference? And what do you think of these statements and these reports?
Well, the collateral damage and the random attacks by the Israeli Air Force might have led to the killing of Yahya Sinwar. This is not, but they can also, if it is random, kill the Israeli as they've done before prisoners or hostages. The idea of killing 66,000 Palestinians through random attacks, they know very well that Hamas from day one is in the underground. So they know very well that they are committing a war crime by attacking civilians with a magnitude that we didn't see even in the Second World War, using all the brutal tools they have with the silence of the international community and full cooperation of the Americans. Take, for example, the possible attack on Iran. We all saw the B-2 strategic bombarding machine that is now attacking the Houthi in Yemen. Do the Houthi need a B-2 strategic bombarding machine like the B-2, or it is prepared to participate in a possible Israeli attack on the Iranian bases or even nuclear facilities that will lead the region to a danger that the foreign minister of Iran came to address through his 8 legs visit. And I think the voice of wisdom is absent in Israel, of course. This is no doubt, but the international community being silent is committing also another crime by allowing Israel to continue of doing what they want to achieve. And if they continue what they are doing in Gaza, they move now to general attack on the north, including Abalia, where they have targeted randomly Ismail Sinwar, but they are getting help even from Britain, from U.S., of course, and many others. So I think the escalation in the Middle East will lead us to a situation where we all will pay a very heavy price. And I think the West is committing a grave mistake by thinking that through war machines like this of Israel, they can attain goals like curbing on Iran supporters or arms in the region, because we saw up till today that no one Lebanese village in the south fall in the hands of the Israelis, but we saw many Israelis killed, and that reminds me of what happened on the 6th of October war, when Israelis or Israel has lost 12,000. They could have 12,000 soldiers. They could have, as Rabin stated in his memo, they could have accepted, like Nasser, when he, in 1968, accepted the Rogers peace plan. We could have avoided all this bloodshed. But again, Israel is still following its violent and brutal trajectory, and I think the Americans are helping, and are helping very clearly. And
that's not really what the White House press secretary has been saying, Ambassador, has she? Now, she was talking earlier about how they have been having conversations about de-escalating, and perhaps these conversations are still ongoing. Now, what do you think of these statements?
I tell you, if they said that we are urging the Israelis to allow the humanitarian ease to get into Gaza immediately, and they give them an ultimatum to apply for 1 month. During this 1 month, the American election will take place. So it is a decision or a position that does not really sustain, because they said you can apply this decision or you can comply to our threat in a month's time. In a month's time, being passing 5th of November, means that the election will take place, and new administration will not be able even to look at the previous administration decisions, because they will not be in office up till February 2025. So you see that the Americans had a year, and from the 7th of October last year, they have a year to go, seeing the carnage happen in front of their eyes, seeing the diplomatic efforts of Egypt, Qatar, and the Americans fall into the flow by the Israeli continuous aggression. And the aggression in Gaza have led them now to aggress Hezbollah in Lebanon, in southern Lebanon. And now what they have done in the north of Gaza, evacuating and collateral damaging buildings and killing all what moves in Gaza, have put them in an appetite to continue what they have done in Gaza in southern Lebanon, where the southern part of Beirut is almost in the same trajectory of abolishing by collateral attacks, and that will lead us nowhere. And the Iranian expecting attacks by the Israelis might lead us to believe that Washington is giving just unfounded threats, and they just high the tune against Israel, but with no value at all. And I think they are only trying to protect themselves if the Israeli took a strategic attack on Iran, that Americans are siding themselves, and they don't want to be seen as part of the attack, so that their interests and troops and bases in the region will not be attacked by the Iranians. But one has to notice two very important statements, one in action like the B-2 being seen in Yemen. This is very threatening and important development. The second is the Russian foreign minister statement that I will not declare if the strategic partnership between Russia and Iran includes in itself a Russian cooperation with Iran. Like if they have a strategic dialogue with Iran and a strategic agreement, he didn't want to disclose if it carries common defense. And if that is the case, we are not talking about regional expected war. We are talking about something else, something more threatening and much more danger to the region and to the world community, being Russia siding with Iran, and the Americans, of course, siding for almost a year now with Israel.
Well, let's talk about what's going on with Hamas right now. Do you think, now I've been saying what we are reporting and what we are showing on Qnews right now. From the archive images, I've seen Yahya Sinwar, and we've seen him along Ismail Haniyeh, who was assassinated last July. Now, do you think that this could cripple the capacity of Hamas? We've seen Israel assassinating Hassan Nasrallah, who's the leader of Hezbollah, and there have been analysts who are saying this could cripple Hezbollah, this could not cripple Hezbollah. Capacities could change from one period to the other. What do you think is going to happen with Hamas?
Yeah, definitely. There will be an effect. You cannot ignore that assassinating a leader of the movement, being Ismail Haniyeh or Yahya Sinwar, will have no effect. It will have an impact on the ground, but in the hierarchy and structure of such organizations, it is not about persons. It is not about a leader. It is about an organizational framework that will allow Hamas, as it happened with Iran, with Lebanon. It might take a few days till a new leader will appear. And I have to say that Israel is making a grave mistake if they understood that target assassination is a key to any solution. We have seen in all liberation movements a similar attempt by colonial power to attack and assassinate leaders, but it led us nowhere. Let me remind you that since the 60s onward, up till many years, the Israelis have assassinated many leaders of the PLO, and the Palestinian Authority or the Palestinian PLO remain working to attain the goals of people. So all the liberation movements.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, because Matthew Miller from the State Department from the United States have been saying that when he was asked about how you can fight an idea and a military capacity, and he said that obviously you cannot really eliminate an idea with military capacity. You can try, but the right discourse is the political action and the political strategy. What do you think is going to happen, and how the United States are going to react to the ongoing military operations targeting leaders of Hamas and targeting militants of Hamas in a time where the United States is saying that you cannot really kill this idea.
Absolutely, I do subscribe to the same idea that liberation movements or resistance movements will not give arms and give up arms until they see a light in the end of the tunnel. Remember that the IRA in Ireland, Northern Ireland, were described as terrorists. Many of their leaders and political parties were arrested, killed, and collaterally attacked, but it did not end and give up their arms till the Good Friday Agreement was signed. And Britain has given up their position in Ireland, and the Irish people are enjoying their liberation and independence, and their liberation or resistance movement did not give up arms to the UN until they saw the light at the end of the tunnel. And this is what should happen with Hamas or Hezbollah, that the Israelis should commit themselves to international legality and international will and reality, calling for a Palestinian state living side by side. You cannot, as a society, live on the edge of the sword. As they said, Israel should not only comply for the benefit of a Palestinian state to the Palestinian people, but also to the well-being of the Israeli people who cannot live like that. This is the first war that Israel is conducting for almost a year and more, and it is the first war that is fought on the Israeli territory, inside their cities, and this situation is not really conducive to any good to the Israeli people, to the region, and to the world.
It's the longest war, too, isn't it, Ambassador? Do you think it's going to escalate in such a manner that would invite other sides during this period?
I gave you two examples. The B2 being in the region, and this is not a good sign against the Houthi, yes, but the presence of the B2 at this very important juncture where Israel is preparing to retaliate from the Iranian second wave of attacks. The second element that we have to bear in mind is the strategic cooperation framework between Iran and Russia, where the Russian foreign minister said that I am not going to disclose the content if there is an article related to joint self-defense. I guess that we have to watch carefully what will happen between Israel and Iran if it is a calculated attack, controlled and targeting military sites. I think it will be maybe tolerated and dealt with in Iran. But if it is a strategic attack in compliance, in complicity of the United States and in full knowledge of what will happen against the strategic position of the Iranian facilities of their nuclear program, or if it attacks also the oil-producing centers, I think we will face retaliation, and huge retaliation might reach not only Israel, but the American positions in the Middle East, and their troops under a lot of stress, I have to say.
Ambassador, you've mentioned something, I just wrote it down because I wanted to discuss it later, and it's about the Israeli government waiting for the results of the U.S. elections. Do you think now? I'm sure you've seen that there are analysts who've been saying that, well, Netanyahu is waiting for Donald Trump. Do you think that what Netanyahu is doing right now in his strategy, he has in the back of his mind that perhaps Donald Trump is going to get in the White House and aid me once more blindly?
The coming few months will be detrimental for the Middle East. If the right-wing government in Israel is waiting the coming of the right-wingers in Washington, the Republican of Donald Trump, that is a risk in itself, because I think still there is clear competition. But between Democrats and Republicans, I don't see really a big difference. Maybe this one will complete. Biden have exerted, and his Democratic party has exerted what Israel wouldn't have even dreamt of, full support at the UN to prevent even the international community to take decisions in the Security Council, in the International Court of Justice, in the International Criminal Court, and in many other avenues. The Democrats were fully engaged, if not compliant, with Israel. And I don't see the Republican will do damage to the region more than what has happened with the Democrats. So I think it is about Israel being a tool, like a war contractor to an American overall strategy or global strategy, where the Israeli people and the Israeli army are used to manage a situation that finally serves the interest of Washington. But I guess this situation requires that the Israelis understand that unless they want to live in this region with peace and tranquility, they will pay a price, and hefty price, inside their cities and their economy. And no matter what they are getting from Washington, it will not be enough, because there is loss of life. And many Israelis will regret that, like what happened in the 6th of October, a war between Egypt and Israel, where 12,000 Israeli soldiers were killed, and they could have been prevented, like Ishaq Rabin wrote in his memory. They could have been prevented. Stupid. That did not happen. It was 1968 when we accepted the peace call of William Rogers, Secretary of State of the United States at that time, and Israel refused, caused us a regional war. Same here. Today, when we are talking about wars and killings, it will cost the Israelis today maybe 400 soldiers killed, thousands were injured, economies crippled, and many other negative side effects on the psyche of the Israelis. Imagine that Israel is now under a court order by the ICJ for genocide. Imagine that the genocide crime that was created after the Second World War for the Jews who were exterminated in the Second World War, that they are subject to the same decision. This is huge to the psyche of the Israeli people, that they are committing the same crime that they have been haunting the whole world, talking about it after the Second World War.
Well, thank you very much, Ambassador Mohammad Hijazi, former Assistant Minister of Foreign Affairs. Thank you for joining us on Q News and for your valuable insights.